What's up, Facebook Live? Happy Friday afternoon here on the East Coast. Hopefully in the evening in London you're doing something fun. Over in Asia, I hope you're crushing it. Australia, g'day mate. Happy Saturday morning to you. And for those of you on the West Coast, I hope you're finishing strong. Today, I just wanted to jump on. Welcome. As you're tuning in, I'd love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, I'd love to know 3 things you are grateful for. Let me jump on here really quickly as we start our conversation. And it's a really, really simple and straightforward conversation I'd like to have with you today. Monica, nice to see you. I was talking with a few different people earlier today. Michael, thank you for the like. Welcome. As you're tuning in, I'd love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. And number two, I'd love to know 3 things you are grateful for. How am I? I'm doing wonderful, thank you. Savon from New York, nice to see you. Michael, good evening from the UK, Mr. Robbins. Hello, sir. Jesse, Orange County, Tustin, California. Hello, nice to see you. Welcome. Let me share this in a couple more places to get some people to come and join us. Hello from Australia. Hello from London. Hello from Brazil. Pete, good morning. Nice to see you. So, 3 questions. Number one, where are you tuning in from? I'm seeing lots of places. Awesome. Number 2, I'd love to know 3 things you are currently grateful for in your life right now. Feel free to type those down in the comment section. John, nice to see you. Tuning in from New Orleans. Welcome. Sharing a group. Let me share it here. And we should be good to go. All right. Lawrence, Ottawa, Canada. Awesome. Tuning in from New Orleans, grateful for my singing career, hunger to improve, for my supportive and loving family. That's wonderful. Lawrence, my mother, children, and my health. Wonderful. So as you're tuning in, I see that number keep ticking up here. So I'd love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number 2, I'd love to know 3 things you are grateful for. Grateful for your health, family, and freedom. Awesome. I love that. And today, really simple conversation. Grateful for your kids, coaching clients, and loving husband. Awesome. I was talking with one of my clients earlier today, and we were talking about results. And this specific client has really big goals, like huge goals, astronomical goals, world-class goals. I would rate them. Welcome, everyone, as you're tuning in. I see the number ticking up. Love to know, number 1, where you're tuning in from. Number 2, I'd love to know 3 things you are grateful for. Michael, grateful for resignation from your job. Congratulations. More now with your family and values you can give others. That's awesome. Grateful for your family, you, and opportunities. Oh, thanks. Tampa's finest in the house. Ryan, nice to see you, sir. Welcome. And so really simple conversation. And this one's important. I'm trying to find a place to start. There's lots of people out there who have huge dreams of things you want to accomplish and places we want to go and stuff you want to experience in life. And so my question is, how much effort are you actually putting in to going after what you want? And what's wild is I was having a conversation with a client, and we were talking about some fitness goals they have. And we said, okay, let's just do a base minimum, a minimum goal. Meaning, I don't care how you do it. You can pogo stick, jump rope, climb mountains, run up buildings, run in a circle in your living room. Like, I really don't care what you do. But let's just say, let's use a fitness tracker and make it really easy to track. And let's just say 10,000 steps a day. It's roughly 5 miles of movement per day. And the average human being, even if you're sedentary, gets about 2 to 3 miles a day, just normal, walking to the bathroom, walking to the kitchen, walking around the house. Normal movement gets, 2-3 miles a day. So let's just get it up to 5 miles, an extra 3 miles, let's say. And what's wild is the text I got back is we were talking back and forth, and he said, why don't we just start with 6,000? Now I'm thinking, interesting. And I said, okay. So I said, wait a second. Do you only want 60% of the result you're aiming for? Like, you only want 60% of that result that you just told me what you really want to accomplish. He's like, no, I want 100% of the result. I want to lose the weight, get into shape, have great energy, get all these results. I said, okay, so you want 100% of the results, but you're only willing to give 60% of the effort it takes. So you're only willing to do 6,000 steps versus 10,000 steps. Now, what's wild, Scott, nice to see you. What's wild is if you take this analogy, I'd love to know how many people out there, and you can do it by raise of hands, a little thumbs up, you can say me in the comment section. How many people out there have at least one area of your life that you're trying to play this game with? You're saying, I want all the results, but I want to put in just a little bit of effort, just a little bit of time. And the other analogy, Scott, you might like this. I've seen people do this in relationships, especially younger men and women, but men tend to fall into this trap more often, where they say something like, Yvette, nice to see you. They say something like, well, I'm seeing some thumbs. Okay. They say something like, hey, I'm ready to have a relationship, and they're in their late 20s, let's say, and their main focus in life is work right now. So their schedule looks like wake up, work out, get their mindset on straight, organize the day, get to the office, work, little breather for lunch, work, and at the end of the day, they come home, they want to read and feed their mind, they want to go have fun with their friends, and then they want to pass out, and they want to do that 4 days a week, and then on Friday, they just want their relationship. They want a person to be there waiting for them, being like, oh, you don't have to call me all week, you don't have to talk to me all week, but like as soon as you're ready, I'll be there. Now, what's wild is whenever I say that, inevitably some young guy somewhere in here will be like, that sounds like the perfect relationship. And I always scratch my head, and that's saying, hey, what's that? Sorry. I think my wife is outside banging pots together. Anyways, I will find out what she's up to in just a minute. But this thought of people want to put in zero effort, and they don't want to have to connect with the person every day. They don't want to have to talk to the person every day. They don't want to have to listen and communicate with the person every day. They don't want to have to think about and care about the person every day. They just want people at an arm's length away that when they feel like having a relationship or someone to connect with, instantly the person is just waiting there at their beck and call. Now, most of you would be smart enough to realize it doesn't work that way. Long term, at least, maybe short term, dating or hooking up with somebody, but long term, to have a deep, dynamic, passionate, lasting relationship, it's not something you can hold at an arm's length away and say, hey, I'll talk to you at the end of the week for 5 minutes, and every now and then I want to get together and hang out, huh? Doesn't work that way. If you want a deep relationship, you have to invest the time, the effort, the energy, the caring, the space in your heart. You have to make space for this human being in your life and be there for them. Same thing goes in your health. Everyone wants to look great and feel great and have abundance of energy, but most people don't want to have to go to the gym every day and work out and get their 10,000 steps in and make a way, create a way, or find a way to really get the result they want. So I'm curious right now, if you guys were going to be ridiculously honest with yourself, in the comment section, which category of your life are you playing this game with? What category of your life are you saying, hey, I want all the results, but I want to tiptoe my way into the actions necessary to get there? Now, I'll be honest. I'll be really honest with you guys. I was doing this in the category of business acquisition. I was doing it myself, really honestly. I was really excited about the vision. I had a whole plan of the types of businesses we want to acquire, very excited about it, talking about it with my wife all the time. But then I noticed, I said, my actions, if I'm really honest with myself, I'm not actually putting in the effort it takes to get the result I'm dreaming about up here. And so it was really interesting. I was going, wow, this isn't going to add up. If I do this set of actions, what I'm doing right now, for another 10 years, I won't even be close to the results that I really want. I said, holy smokes. I said, well, what percentage? Pete says, in business building. Okay. And so, thank you, Pete, for being honest here. Yeah, young men are really immature. Monica, I hate to say it nowadays, young women do the same thing. If you catch a young woman who's a businesswoman, who's trying to build her career, They also want someone to have a deep, profound, passionate, loving relationship with that they don't want to have to give any time to during the week because they're so busy with their career. So it happens both ways. It just happens more often that other way. Merrick, what's up, buddy? Jairek, Merrick. We're like almost the same name. Pretty close. How do you create results and balance? It's a great question. So, Scott, great question. What we're talking about here isn't so much constant, never-ending push, as much as intelligently putting in the actual effort necessary to get the result you want. And so let's say, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a guy who shows up or a young kid who shows up and says, hey, I want to become a black belt. How often should I train? And they say, oh, I only want to train once a month too, but I want a black belt in 12 months. I don't know that much about most martial arts, but I don't think there's many martial arts that if you did 1 day of training or 1 day for 1 hour of training, so an hour a month of training, that in 12 months you could achieve the black belt. I don't think it adds up that way. That's not the effort needed to get that specific reward. Now, you don't have to go an hour every day for 365 days to get that reward. You can do it in much less time with great effort. At the same time, it's saying what's the actual effort needed to actually get that tangible result in life. And 1 hour a month doesn't add up to that in 12 months. It just doesn't. And so that's what I was saying. For this client, he was giving me some really big world-class goals, yet Robert says, I have a black belt. And how long could you achieve that black belt for 1 hour of training a month in 12 months or less? If you could, let me know. I don't know it that well. Oh, Pete just nailed it. Sometimes the idea of the thing is more attractive than the activity required to achieve it. Spot on. And this is the trap that most people fall into. I'd go a step further, Pete, and say more than just the idea of the thing. A lot of times, talking about the thing is way more attractive than actually doing the work. Because talking about it, you get to feel significant, you get to feel connected, you have something special and big going on in your world that you can talk to people about, and they'd be like, wow, good for you, that's so cool. And so it has this whole experience around it that's so exciting, and it's fun, and it's neat, and it's interesting, and it's amazing, and look how big, look how good this guy's doing, and he's up to huge things. But then you watch their action, and it doesn't add up. I said, wow. And so this conversation is nothing more than a gut check that I'd love for you to have with you. And regardless if you put it in the comment section or not, I'd love you to have this own personal gut check here and say, hey, let me go through the major categories of my life, which we talk about in Vevlo, or Live It, English and Spanish version, right over there. If you don't have it yet, you might want to get it. In chapter 2 of our book, we talk about the majors of life, and we were to start off in your health. Be honest with yourself. For the goals you have, for the results you want, here's the big question. For the goals you have, for the results you want, give yourself a rating, 0 to 100%. Are you really putting in the effort necessary on your scale to get the results you want? 0 to 100%. How much effort are you putting in, and what kind of results do you want? If you're saying, hey, I'm only giving about 20% effort of what I could really do in my health and fitness right now, great, just expect 20% of your results or less. That's okay. I mean, just be real with yourself. And that way you go, hey, I'm just going to expect way less results than for the effort I'm putting in. And that's all I can do right now. So going back to the question of balance, if that's all you can do right now, that's okay. Let's see. I can't hear. Is the sound coming through? Testing. Anyone hear the sound there? Hopefully this is working. Not sure. Yes, it's working. Perfect. Thanks, Kristen. And so this is the conversation. Through each major category of your life, so in your health and fitness, based on the result you're trying to achieve. The question is, are you putting in the action and the effort necessary to get there? You decide. I'm not going to judge you. If you were a client of mine, I would sure as shit sit down with you and say, okay, what's the result? How much tangible effort does this result really truly take? And let's match it up and see if we're actually on the right path to get the result you want. So once you go from, let's say, health and fitness, then go to emotions. How do you want to feel every day? Most people want to feel passionate and joyful and elated and excited and calm and centered and loving and fulfilling. Yet, most people aren't willing to do the work to actually stimulate those kind of emotions in their life. Big question. Are you willing to do the work there? Next, relationships. Whew, this is an interesting one. Because most people want this loving, passionate, romantic, incredible, deep love of a relationship. And again, are you creating the time to actually... Thank you, I needed this today. You're welcome. I really wanted to hear this and it's not working. Try hitting reset. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Robbie, that was for you. Try refreshing. Yvette says, so relevant in my life right now. Absolutely. And so this concept, comb through each major, your health and fitness, your emotional fitness, your relationships, your business, your finances. I mean, most people I talk to is like, hey, do you want to make more money this year? Of course I do. Well, what the heck are you doing to get that? I don't know. Same stuff I did last year. Just hoping it turns out better. That doesn't add up. Like you got to match this up. And you got to say, listen, if I want to grow the result, I have to step up what I'm doing to really, truly get into it. Scott says hitting the reset. Absolutely. So sometimes it's not about doing more and just being busier as much as what it can be is just hacking out all the junk you're doing that doesn't need to be there, clearing it up and only doing the important things that matter. So Scott, the question of how do you achieve more and stay balanced? Cut out all the crap you don't need to be doing and focus only on the pertinent actions that get the biggest return on investment. And that way it's taking less time to get more progress because you're not only doing more activity, but you're doing more of the right activity, which is going to amplify the results. And that's what we're looking for, not just work harder. There's lots of very hardworking people who are stuck in horrific positions because they're working hard at stuff that doesn't add up to the dreams they want. And same thing, there's lots of really smart people that Robbie, welcome back. There's lots of really smart people that have a great plan, but they're only giving it 10% energy, and they're wondering why they're so freaking stuck. Yeah, exactly. So declutter. And so here's a great question. If you want a specific question to ask in each category of your life, open up your health and fitness and ask yourself really clearly, what's one thing I need to start doing in my health and fitness that if I were to do this every single day for the next year, I would absolutely hit the goal that I'm going after? Now, one thing you need to start doing. Then you need to go to the next one. What's one thing I need to stop doing immediately in my health and fitness that if I were to stop doing this immediately in the next 12 months, I would absolutely move closer to my goal? So one thing you need to start doing, one thing you need to stop doing immediately. Then you go to the next category of your life, emotions. What's one thing I need to start doing immediately if I'm going to get the emotional experience of life I really want? And you got to remember, quality of emotions is quality of life. Because it's not what happens to you that determines your quality of life as much as how you experience it. I got to meet people all around the world who live in very humble situations, yet they have such a rich experience of life. They're wildly abundant compared to people who live in a very abundant experience of life in their situation, yet they don't really value it or experience it, and all they feel is stress, worry, anxiety, and fear that they're going to screw it up. And therefore, they have a really shitty version of life emotionally, even though they have a great version of life externally. And so in emotions, this concept of are you really experiencing all the juice out of your life? And if you're going for it, what's one thing you need to start doing every single day to squeeze the juice and greatness out of life and really get to experience the bliss and nectar of there? And what's one thing you need to stop doing immediately that if you were to stop doing this emotionally, It would clear space for you to be able to experience more of the sweet nectar of life. Keep going. Business, same conversation. I guarantee there's something you do in your business every day that if you were to stop doing this, it might be cutting off a client that's taking up way too much of your time. It might be cutting off, a relationship that you're doing because it's good to do it, but it's not really adding up. Jairek says, so about being very specific. Exactly, be specific, comb through. And I'm trying to be broad because there's so many people with so many different categories of life here and so many different situations. So this is something when I work one-on-one with someone, we get very, very specific in your life, in your situation right now, and we comb through the clutter of what's going on in your world, and we figure out what do we need to cut out, what do we need to add in, and how do we need to focus your mind, your body, your emotions every day to get the amplification of performance to get you moving faster to where you really want to go. And it's not that hard. If you were watching yesterday on the Facebook Live we were talking about the base level, nutrition and sleep. You need these two things. Then state management. How do you activate the strongest version of who you are? We showed you a really simple way to do it through breathing. Everyone can breathe here, obviously. At least I hope you can. And so, breathing can activate this peak state. And then from there, self-actualization, confidence, emotional fortitude, grit, stamina, passion, perseverance, all the things you want to feel and experience. But we talked about a pyramid of how to layer those things to make sure you really can actualize and hit the top of that pyramid in that experience. So today we're talking about, expecting 100% of the results with 60% effort, it ain't going to work out. And like Scott was saying, if you try to do everything all the time, everywhere, you're going to be too busy and not get to actually experience life or have any balance. One thing I'm really proud of, the way we've set our life up from the beginning intentionally is so that we could run our business from anywhere, anytime, any place on earth via a laptop, a cell phone, and the internet. We've been able to do it from a picnic bench in Costa Rica while having breakfast overlooking this beautiful forest. We've been able to do it on a cruise ship while cruising from Monte Carlo to France and Italy and Spain and everywhere else over there in the Mediterranean and ocean over there. We've been able to do it on everywhere. And we set it up that way to have maximum flexibility so we could have balance, to have fun, to travel, to do volunteer work, to do all this stuff around the lifestyle that we wanted, around the business. And we built the business around it to support it. And now we want to grow. Eventually we're going to want a family, so we want to support more and grow more. And like I said in the beginning of this, I realized I was doing this whole 20% effort expecting 100% results in business acquisitions. And so I was kind of tiptoeing around in the space. And I made it a goal, and I said, hey, in the next 6 months, I want to acquire at least 5 businesses that we want to purchase from other people and own them. I was like, cool, let's do it. And all of a sudden, I said, hey, I'm going to put an hour a day, no matter what. Doesn't matter what day of week it is, an hour a day of digging through prospective businesses for sale, figuring out good ones, inquiring for their information, gathering up all their things. And then Amanda and I said, hey, since this is kind of our side business of acquisitions and buying other businesses, let's make a 2-hour every Saturdays. We're going to blog off 2 hours every single Saturday until we find and buy our next 5 businesses. It's like, okay, great. So I said to step back and say, listen, if I put an hour a day of research and gathering, their P&Ls and their tax reforms and all this stuff, and then I put 2 hours a week of us sitting down and sifting and sorting through all the the deal flow coming through, figuring out which ones are good and which ones are not. Is that enough effort that in 6 months we'll be able to purchase at least 5 great businesses? I said, yeah, actually I think it is. 6 hours a week of research and 2 hours a week of processing and sorting and sifting and analyzing. Plus, we have a whole group of people. We have a core of like 5 friends that we pass this through, and they all run the numbers to try to find and offset anything we're missing as far as the analyzing of the business itself. And I was like, I think that'll be enough, but I have to do it. And I said, what was I doing before? Before, when I had time, I'd maybe poke around online and see what business is for sale. Every now and then, I might mention it to somebody that we were interested in something. And then I stopped, and this is the question I had, and the same thing I asked for you. I said, based on that action plan, not the new one, but the old one, Would I be able to acquire 5 businesses in 6 months? I was like, not really. I didn't even know what was out there. I didn't even have enough feelers out to get to know what was going on in the environment. And so I hope this is helpful. I'm trying to give you a very tangible realization, something you can immediately put into action in your own life so that you can get the results you desire and deserve by really, truly getting into that motion. Scott says, yes, you have to make the time. You'll never just accidentally find time. It's absolutely true. And so this is the next step to your plan. If you figured out something you have to start doing and something you have to stop doing in this category of life you want to improve on, this next very tangible step is, like Scott said, you have to make the time for it. And I tried to allude to that in my little story about what we're doing. But I want you to take out your calendar, and I want you literally to map out a little block of time every day of the week that you're going to focus on this category, and give it the time. Make the time for it throughout your week that says, hey, here's the exact hours every single day I'm going to map out to ensure that I'm actually investing the energy, the thought, the emotion, and the physicalness into this project to get the result I really desire. For us, it's an hour a day of research and 2 hours every weekend of analyzing and processing what we're getting to see how it adds up and which ones are the good ones to go with. Now, as we move further into the process of purchasing some, there'll be paperwork and all kinds of stuff coming, meetings, paperwork, legal stuff, all kinds of stuff going on. But for right now, this is the big step of gathering and processing. So I know 6 days a week of gathering, 1 day a week of processing is enough to actually get the momentum going in what we're trying to do here. So I'm asking you guys right now, take out your calendar, decide what category of life you're going to focus on, and then really simply mapping out and putting little blocks of time across the week on exactly what days and what times you're going to invest into this specific category. Now, don't do it for all of them all at once right now. Just do it for one. Let's just get you focused on one specific thing that I would love, just like I do with my one-on-one coaching clients, I would love for all of you on here to come back a week from now and go, dang, look at how much progress I've made. I'd love to hear that from you on here. I love doing these little chats, and I love watching, they get 1,000 views or a couple thousand views every other day here. And I'd love to hear back from all of you in the comment section here that tune in regularly or every now and then. And I'd love to hear how you were able to take this idea, really hold yourself to the fire and say, listen, I wasn't giving my all. I was not giving 100% effort for the 100% of results I wanted in return. So I decided to cut certain activities out of my life, add certain activities to my life, schedule it into my calendar. Here's what I've done for the last 7 to 15 days of my life, and check it out. Here's the result I have. This is cool. I'd love for you to have that experience. And hopefully, your friends, your family, your employees, your team members, people you know and work with, hopefully you hit share and spread this around to get them on board to do it with you. So this isn't, and I'll give you one other little thing. My speaking manager called me out on something a couple days ago, and I want to say thank you to her. Thank you, Ona. She called me out on something the other day, because what was wild was she told me, and she threw this at me. She goes, do you really actually want the results you're talking about, or are you just talking about them? I said, what do you mean? And she says, in your mind, in your heart, in your gut, when you think about the results you're saying you want, does it feel like, have you gotten to a place where you're worthy of achieving it? You feel that you're putting in the effort worthy of the reward that you're going to receive. You feel that you as a human being, it is fair reciprocation for what it is you're putting out there. And I remember sitting down and being like, am I worthy? Of course I'm worthy. Yeah, I guess. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Worthy. I'm a human being, but I'm a miracle of God in the world that decided to pick all these molecules and mix them up, and me popped out. Of course I'm worthy of whatever, life throws my way. So I was like, interesting. And Marie just said it right here. Are you vibrating at the same level of what it is that you desire? And I remember thinking, this sounds a little hocus pocus for me. I like tangible things I can feel and control and go after. But I sat down, and she says, well, she's working on booking us for speaking engagements. She goes, well, tell me how you feel about speaking engagements. And I said, let me be honest with you. I don't want speaking engagements. I want moments in front of groups of people that I can literally get up and share valuable, tangible information and experiences with them that'll change their life forever in a meaningful and deep and profound way. I said, that's what I really want. And she paused and she goes, you didn't even hear what you just said. I said, what do you mean? She says, say what you said again. It's like, I don't know what I said. It just came out of me. And she says, but you didn't even hear it. I heard it. She's like, you're making my job a lot freaking harder than it has to be over here. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, you keep sending me all these leads, and for some reason they're not getting back to us. They're delaying. They're pushing it off. They're doing all this stuff. What in the world? I was trying to figure out what's going on. She's like, I don't think you really wanted to book this business, did you? And I remember thinking, yeah, I guess I do. Of course I do. I love helping people. She goes, no, you didn't hear the first word out of your mouth. The first word was, I don't want speaking engagements. I want to transform people's lives. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize I was saying that to myself. She goes, yeah, stop saying that shit to the universe, man. She's like, you're making my job difficult. And we started laughing. I was like, okay. I said, well, what should I say? She goes, try this. She says, say it out loud right now. Speak it with your soul to the universe. She said, I want speaking engagements. I love speaking engagements. An abundance of speaking engagements are flowing to me effortlessly every single day. And I started saying this, and she's like, say it again, say it again. I kept saying it. She's like, say it like you actually believe it this time. And I was like, okay. And I was saying it, and I got into it. I'm like, this is kind of fun. It feels good. And what's wild is, the next day, I got an email from a client asking me to come in and do a one-day training for their group. A few hours later, I got a text from another friend of mine who I've done lots of training for, asking me to come do training for them. The next day, I got 2 emails from 2 different clients saying they'd like me to come speak at their events in January and March. I got another email this afternoon saying there's another event in March that someone else wants me to speak at. Then one of the people we were following up with started following back up and saying they want me to come speak. And I was like, whoa, this how kind of works. And it's that blend of really making sure, and here's the mix. It's not just that I spoke it out to the world. It's not just that I did all the actions necessary constantly. It's both of them combined that becomes really effective. Because for me to give that piece of advice to someone and say, just speak it to the world and watch what happens. Yes, as long as you're doing the work. For us to get that much business in a short period of time, it's also piggybacked on top of, what is it, 18, 19, 20, 33, 30, 20, almost 20 years of doing this? It's pretty crazy. 7.5 years on our own. There's a lot, let's say 15, 16 years of being in this business, doing the work constantly every single day. The mental work, the emotional work, the physical work, the business of it, generating leads, providing content, pushing great messages out to the world, pushing messages like this constantly out, pushing, feeding great stuff into the world, that when it comes time for us to say, hey, I'm ready, let's do this. I want more clients. I can't wait to pick up a couple more coaching clients. I can't wait to pick up a couple more speaking opportunities. I can't wait for people to join our Performance Coach University program. That with the work combined with that alignment, magic happens. But what I would start for most people is making sure your effort, thank you so much, making sure your effort is tangibly and actually lined up with the result you really want. Those 2 things have to be aligned. Then you got to add in that alignment with the energetic level. Now the combination, as long as the effort matches the reward you're looking for, and you add the right energetic connection to it, again, magic happens. A sort of bond with your future self, absolutely. Let's see, I'm really taking this, I'm definitely taking action on this, absolutely. Are you vibrating with the desire? That's the other way to say it, Marie. And so that's the combination I'm going to throw out there for you. And for those of you, Merrick says, I'm finding your current group of friends are not the same path of holding us back with the results you want to achieve. Merrick, the 33% rule. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There's a blog post we did on this. JRC TV, 33%. Is this it? This might be it. So Merrick, the whole concept is looking at, no, that's not it. The whole concept with the 33% rule is, we talked about this a couple episodes ago here on these live feeds. 33% of your friends should be ahead of you. 33% of your friends should be right on the same kind of level or moment of life as you're at, and 33% might be a couple steps behind you. That way you can reach up and get advice from the 33% ahead of you. You can trade battle stories and what's working and what's not right now tangibly with the 30% on the same level. And people who are a couple steps behind you, you can reach back and say, hey, here's what works. Use it. Come on, catch up. Let's go. And so, Merrick, that peer group is making sure you're balancing it and saying, hey, 33% of the people should be right up here, 30% right here, and 30% right here. That way, there's people who are going to inspire you to do more, challenge you to step up, and people you can inspire and bring along the way. It's a great balance there with peer group. Thank you. Great to be in your space. Marie, great to be in your space. Thanks for joining. Anyways, that is all. I promised my wife I would wrap up by 5 o'clock today because we're going to go make some baskets for families in need to celebrate. Just a quick call to action. For those of you out there who are in an abundant situation and you'd like to share some awesomeness with the world, Google Anthony Robbins Foundation Basket Brigade and join in wherever you are around the world. I think we have a group coming tonight that we're going to go hang out with, and we're going to do 40 baskets for families and go surprise some families with a big Thanksgiving experience. Just as our gift to them to surprise them on a holiday and hopefully let them know that they're loved and cared for and that the community's got their back. So if you're out there, let me throw it in the comment section. Let me grab this real quick. Here's a way you can get involved all around the globe. On average, I think they do about 4 million families. So you can check your zip code. I'll throw it in here. There you go. You can check your zip code and figure out where there is one going on around you. I would urge you and ask you and invite you to come and join us and go help make some magic happen for families all over the world. Make them feel loved and cherished and cared for, and let them know that the community has their back in a, holiday season, whether it's Christmas or other holidays that they're celebrating, but to be there and care for them. So join in. I'm going to go have some fun putting baskets together. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.